Alrighty, another day, another Woodle, and it is Super Bowl day today. So looking forward to that one. After this, let's kind of try to rush through this, or not rush through it, but like kind of get quickly. I'm trying to keep a 5 minute time on this. So, yep, let's start now. Bound, not strictly as 5 minutes, but if I can do it, that'd be awesome. Let's try share. I always start off with these two words. They just have a nice unique mix of letters that don't coincide, don't don't overlap. So there's one in the right spot. I'm tempted to say it's gonna be the E, but I'll test that out later. Um, we only have two letters though, so there's plenty of stuff that is not there. I want to try to like move away some of these letters. So let's try like shard. Uh, and then I can confirm it if all of these happen to be confirm the E. Let me just go with it. Okay, so I know it's not the E then. I was hoping for that, and that would be that was a hail mary one. You take some risks. Things happen. It's definitely not the D over here as well because it would have shown up as a yellow. So we know that SHAR has one in the right spot. This one has one of the letters. We know these two letters are not in the word. I want to try fruit. Let me just see what I get from here. It's a Hail Mary-ish, but the U could be it. So if I can rule out the BON, I can confirm the U, and I can rule out FRIT. Um, how do I rule out? Thinking like bond, but I can do something a little bit boned, and then we can rule out that. Oh, so we can't rule it out. Okay, so we know that BON, the E and D are not it. I've used up a lot of guesses on some Hail Mary stuff. It's a bit like gambling if you think about it. So we know that this is not it. Has to be from BLN from there. And so we also know that the U isn't a thing. So we have one letter, two letters, or the R could actually be it, honestly. We could try to see if it's the R. So I can go with shade. Again, another Hail Mary, but we'll go with it. And that's not it either. Okay, well, there's no R at least. We know that. And we know that's from the first three letters. There's no R because otherwise, if one of these is going to be the green, then the R would show it as something. So we can take out some of these. So we know it's one letter from FIT, and it's a different spot from that. One letter over here that's in the same spot. One letter from here. We have three letters, and we're up to six guesses so far. Not really that great. Hmm. I want to say maybe it's the A in the right spot. Um. Let me. I don't know if I want to rule out some stuff or not. Let me go with a. I'm thinking I'll try to like get some letters out there that I haven't used because I've got a lot of white and gray in the spots. So ploy. I could go with plate, and it could likely be the A, and we can take a risk with that one. But the IT is also in the same spot. I don't want to do that necessarily. Um, if I do think, I've got the IT, the H is in the same spot, so it could be the H too. Honestly, I mean, I'm willing to take that shot because if the H is in the right spot, then it's likely going to be that. So let's try this. There's one over here. Okay. I don't really know if this really helped us a whole lot. I'm gonna just go here. Because we all know that the oh, I thought the N was already ruled out. Okay, N is not ruled out either. So we know it's if oh, this is not good. Either the T is at the beginning, or there's no. We tried thank, and then be. I'm really going bad with this. So we know it's not the A or I that would have, or if it is the A or I, both of them have to be the yellow. God, I am messing this up, haven't I? Huh. Mm, What if I go with stain? I would be able to rule out the H. Then we know that the N cannot be over here or over here. So the N is definitely. Oh wait. The N is probably going to be this one. So it's not going to be the A or I. Maybe this one. The H might be a thing. I don't know if I want to do this. Oh, this is bad. Show. Okay, so if we're gonna assume that the B is not there. If we can get the O in a different spot, but that wouldn't help because we need to rule out the A as well. So what if they do shame, and we're gonna assume that the M isn't a part of the thing, because likelihood of that is no. We have shade, so we know that okay. So we know one of these letters is in the thing, and it's in the right spot too. If the A is that letter, then okay, we can work with this actually. Let me bring this down. So if the A is the green letter, so this would be the green. The A definitely cannot be the yellow. So if this is the green. That means the I would have to because everything else is in the same spot. So the A is definitely not part of the word. Okay, so we've ruled that out. Given that A is not part of the word, so I guess the logic that it's kind of hard to I don't know if it's really hard to explain. Let me just try to piece that together. So basically, if we assume that the A is a green, so A is in the right spot and everything, this would mean that this green would refer to this. But if you look at the difference between 8 and 7, um, you've also got one green in the spot, and every other letter except for the A is in the same spot. The I obviously cannot be green because we already assume that the A is taking that position. So that means one thing else has to be green. But if one other thing is a green, that means there has to be at least two greens over here. So given that, we know that the A cannot be a green over there. Hope that made sense. The N cannot be the green because that N would have showed up over here. It is likely going to be the yellow, but I can't confirm it. The thing that gets to me is like the H from the positioning, it seems like the H is in the right spot, right? But what else goes with H? I mean, I guess I could do a WH. Um, PH. Actually, there's a lot of stuff for H, to be honest. So if I can rule out the S, that's good. I'm assuming that the H is the one that's in it because there's just too much green going on with the H in that spot. So given that, when we assume that the N is in some spot, we can assume that the N might be at the end because it wouldn't fit over here. Um, it's obviously not over here, so it'd have to be at the end. So right now, what we're thinking is W or Well, I'm assuming it's a W over there. Um, but it could be a P. It could be a G, maybe. But yeah, XX, and not a whole lot to go off of. I At this point I've completely given up on 5 minutes. Figured it's easier to go through the logic for this. There's no Q. There's no U. We'll assume. We could have an I, but then the I would have to, if the I is the green, that the I definitely is not the green for the same reasoning. If I is green over here, that means over here this green, one of these would be a green, and then we'd have at least two greens over here. So the I cannot be a green. Given that if we assume I is in the word, then this would be the I. This would be I over here. Those two are yellow, so the I cannot be over here or over here. The I can't be at the beginning because I can't think of any I word that has an H right next to it. So I'm gonna say that the I is not part of the word at all. Um, I highly doubt the K is in it, but you never know. Um, but given that we are saying that the N is going to be a yellow and this is a green, the K cannot be a part, right? We can't confirm that for sure because we're making an assumption with the N, but I'll just say the K is not a part of it. There's no T. That means there's an F at that point. Um, so you got an F somewhere. Fun. I don't think there's any way that the F could work out. So that means our assumption of the H being a green is a little bit off. So that means the S would have to be in the right spot. So we can go stain. We can't do stain actually. Sta. I'm thinking ST. Then one thing. So stint. Stint doesn't work because the T at the end would have done something. I'm going to say that the T is either yellow or it's in the right position. The N is clearly not in the right position. Mm, so we can go T is the green, the N is the yellow, and then so it could be like something like T. What else? So given that the H is not a part of it, we can have T and something with the N. That's what I'm thinking. As in the N is the yellow and the T is something that's there in the right position. I'm thinking train, but like obviously it doesn't work. What vowels do we have left? Let's bring this up. We've got a. We don't have an O because if the N is the yellow, that means the O is not a part of it. We've got a Y, and I'm gonna be careful about saying that it needs a vowel because last time it really messed me up with the five consonant thing. I mean, not too much, but if I'd seen that, I could have done a pretty. I think it was like four or five, whatever. Mm, but I'm gonna say it's less likely. There's something missing. There's always this little. I feel like if I go with it for a little bit longer, I can get it. But I've already spent like I don't know 15 minutes now. Um, I want to get an all red. I want to try for an all. Well, actually, I have enough letters that I can actually rule out some stuff. So let's just see if you can rule out a T. So we'll go with train, and then see if we get two greens, and then we know that that would be our interesting. Interesting. Hmm. Well, we know the R and I aren't part of it. We've already ruled those out for sure. So at this point, unless the A and I are both in it, but like this would have given us two yellows at that point. So we definitely know it's not there now, 100%. Um, the green has to be the N, the K then, because we said it wasn't the H, or it could be the H. What would this? So WH, and then I guess there's no N at that point, and there's a T. Hmm. Interesting stuff. Interesting turn of events. So then there could be a O somewhere. Ho. Hor. Hold. Host. We could go with hole, and then see where that leads us. The L is a new letter. I'm thinking. I want to try to get the T in. Fold. Fold. It's not a SH. It can be. All right. Let me do this. Let me just go with this, and then rule out. We can confirm if the H is not spot. I know this is a word. Probably not a PG word. I mean, definitely not a PG word, I guess. But come on, come on. You know it's a word. Um, Let me try where. Keep it. I want to get the O in though. I want to. Whoa, 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 hope, hote, host, home, hone. Well, we'll just do this. All right. So now we know that the H has to be not it. That was throwing us off a lot. But now we know it's the S in that spot. And now for sure. So we'll do the S, S. It's either T or N in the letter. And then there's T or N, and then the K. The K has to be in the right spot at this point. The N cannot be over there. So, if there's no T, then that means there's an F. I want to say that. I mean, honestly, it could go either way. We'll search that up. Okay, so the N can't be in these three spots. It can be in one of the first two, if it is there. And the T would have to be in somewhere else. We can go lonk. But the N can't be over there, right? So we assume that the N is not a part of it. If N is not part of it, that means the T is a part of it. That means there's no F. So there's a T somewhere. There will be an O because it would just make way more sense for that vowel to be there. That's the whole reasoning we had for N not being in there because the only way we can get a vowel in is if the N and B aren't a thing. So we assume that the O is not in the middle in the spot, but we'll work with that later. I'm just trying to see what letters I have. I've got K. I've got a. That's all I have. And hmm. So given these letters, given what I know about where T is not at the beginning or at the end. O is over here. So let's go with XXXX. K. We know that. And I'm gonna say the O has to be in one of these spots, right? Because it's very rare that it'll be at the beginning. The T can't be over there, so it's Autuk doesn't make sense. Talk kind of makes sense, but I don't know what I have over here. Can the T be in the second spot? Yes, there's probably something with the T in the second spot. Oh, we also know the S is a thing. I forgot about that. So it's ST. That makes sense. I would say O. At this point, I would say stork, but that's not a thing. I want to say stonk, but I'm pretty sure that's just a meme word. Like, I don't think it really counts as a real word unless they made it a thing. But we could actually go with what the stonk should have actually been, which is stock. And I think this might be it. There we go.